Welcome in and greetings, my associates. I'm grateful to be with you today and share with you an interview I was able to do with Alex Barlekamp. Alex is a visionary. He has started his own venture called the Fractured Heartboards Company, and we're able to get together and synergize on main talking points, what it means to start a venture, Alex's personal story, and how that relates to the Fractured Heartboards mission and their brand. He gave hard, concrete examples of hustling on the ground to try to spread his brand awareness, as well as a visionary outlook into what value they want to create long term and what are some next steps for his venture and his company. If you wouldn't mind starting off, maybe introduce yourself and give a little bit of your background and speak a little bit to your professional background. Let's do this. We will do your professional background, your education, and what is your favorite food? It's just something fun.
Yeah, no, I always like those icebreakers.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's good. I don't think that's too personal. You don't want to, sometimes these just get a little weird. Sometimes they ask too personal. I've been on interviews, or I've seen interviews where they just get a little too personal, and it gets kind of awkward for, I feel like, the listeners and
I just thought of it. So
yeah, no, it's good thinking on your feet. So the question, my personal background, my professional background, and my favorite. What was the last one?
Favorite food.
Food. Okay. So my
to eat.
My personal background, I'm a long resident of Ohio. Started out in Northwest Ohio, and up in Northeast Ohio for school. So that kind of dovetails nicely into professional development. I think I graduated third in my class, first out of the men. There were some really smart girls in our class. And then I went to Youngstown State University over in Youngstown, Ohio, and go Gwins, And
it says here your name is Alex Barlekamp.
Yes, my name's Alex Barlekamp. Some people call me Al, but I prefer you call me Alex.
Okay.
Alex Barlekamp is my name. So I went to Youngstown State University for 2 years. And not to, confuse anyone out there, it's not for like an associate's. I did get a bachelor's of combined sciences,
wow.
But it was as part of a combined degree with an MD kind of track. So I actually went, full credit hours for 4 years, but I kind of jammed it into 2 as part of the program. So we went all summer long and, really hustled. And then we were accepted in medical school as long as we kept a certain GPA and passed the MCAT. And then I went to medical school at Northeast Ohio Medical School. It's all formerly called Neo-UCOM. Now it's Neo-Med. So I was there for 4 years and then graduated, did residency at Akron City Hospital. Summa Health Systems was the organization. I did my residency in family medicine. So womb to tomb, cradle to grave, the whole gambit. Although when they say womb, I don't really do much pregnancy care. So mostly cradle to grave, I guess. I should maybe stop using womb to tomb.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, that makes it a little more accurate. But a lot of people in our field say that. And we are trained in it. I just don't really continue the practice. So sorry for the misnomer. But anyway, I've been working with Summa Health Systems as a family physician since 2019. So that was right before the pandemic, actually, which was kind of a wild ride. I thought I was getting into something, and then boom, pandemic.
Wow.
Everything virtual, just kind of crazy for like
COVID-19.
Yeah, 2019, 2020. So, that was crazy. But we've kind of bounced back from that, and man, work's been busier than ever as a family med doc. So that's my main squeeze is being a family medicine physician.
So Dr. Barlekamp,
Sure, yeah, Dr. Barley. I think it's a little pretentious. Just
But I
in my role as CEO of fractured heartboards, which I'll get into in a second. I just go by Alex. I don't like to go by Dr. Barlekamp.
well, it's amazing to hear. So you don't mind if you go by Al, right?
No, I do.
You prefer Alex?
Yeah, Alex would be great here. Some of
Okay,
my closer friends and my grandma, they call me Al, but yeah, until we get to know
Understood.
each other better a little bit,
Understood.
maybe
Sure. Well,
that has
boundary
to happen a little more organically, right? Yeah, no boundaries, healthy boundaries, right? So
exactly.
your route totals like 11, but
Wow,
like I said, with that accelerated program, got out a little earlier. So yeah.
that's really special. And so
Mm-hmm.
and so, at what point do you decide to start on this other venture, fractured heartboards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of been a really cool story. I've read things like Rich Dad Poor Dad. A lot of business people know that book. Um, you've heard of it, I'm assuming. And ever since stuff like that, I thought, well, wow, business is the way to really change things. That's how you make actual impact in your community. That's how you make impact on individuals by hiring, by offering services.
Yes.
Um, just creating that value, right? And so I figure, well, I've got a little bit of capital with my main gig. Why don't I start something up and see how it goes? There's wonderful things called Onewheels. They're so you hop on them. It's like a self-bouncing skateboard with like a big go-kart tire in the middle.
Mm.
Really fun. If we have time at the end, I could even maybe do a demonstration. But
Oh, sorry. No, what's that called? A one wheel?
Onewheel, yeah,
So
that's the.
that's technology.
Oh yes, yeah, technology,
Oh wow.
pretty good technology, I'd say, and so it's very fun. It's very fun. So
And one key thing, I can tell that you've put a lot of thought into this because you'd said the key word there, value, right? So when we're talking about starting these types of ventures and really looking to develop something that's attractive to the free market, um, is the market share there? You really need to be offering something of value, and in this case, it's this one wheel technology, correct?
yeah, so we don't build them. They are built by Future Motion, and we just ride them. And I'm a kind of an enthusiast, so to speak. I just really enjoy. I'm enthusiastic when I'm on the board, right? I'm out there just having fun, enjoying the experience, and I'm also a sharer, so I love sharing the experience. And so I figured, well, hey, why don't I try to help get others access to this venture? Um,
And inspiring others while you do that. I think that
yeah.
that's a lot of what went into this series is the idea that we want to start inspiring those that are getting a line underneath me and following me into the future battles, because they need to be inspired and they need to be unified in whatever that ultimate goal is. So what is your ultimate goal? Let me ask you this, what is the problem that's being solved with the fractured heartboards venture?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get too off track. I do like to circle through and be thorough. You did ask me my favorite food, right? Do you still want to know that? Is that a nice spot for that?
I'm kind of
Um,
past that. I don't have any I don't really care too much about that anymore.
okay. Yeah. I
It
guess we've kind
just
of
to
already
be
broken the ice.
and two, and I think, and I'm glad that you brought that up, and I think that playing devil's advocate in that sort of way and really voicing, being authentic in your thoughts and opinions and comments is something that I welcome, even though I don't know, Alex, if you've ever worked for a boss or reported to somebody directly who looks to challenge those types of things or not be very perceptive to criticism or negativity. And I'm not like that at all. So actually, I welcome it. But I will be
Mm,
transparent with you and tell you
mm.
that when it comes to the food conversation and the meal that I'd asked it to begin with, I've decided to go ahead and change my mind, and I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Okay. I love the transparency. I like what you got going on here.
Okay, good.
So back to your inspiration goal. You said the word inspiration. I like inspiration. I just feel like it gets overused a little bit. I kind of like
Oh.
I'm an encourager. I love to encourage people. That's my role.
Oh, wow.
I think the board really does the inspiring once you're on it. So that's not my job. That's not my role. I'm here to encourage you to get on it, and it's gonna do that work for me.
Hmm.
So yeah, I like the word encouragement better
How
personally.
fast does the one wheel go?
I can get up to. I mean, depends how excited you are on it, but like 21, 22. Depends
Oh, it
how
goes.
heavy you are too. Yeah, it's cooking.
It
And
can
they've got
read.
newer models these days that are well up to, I mean, higher 20s. I've seen people on it 30s. They've got some like modified boards that people kind of take off these governors, put bigger battery packs in them. I've seen somebody on YouTube get up to 44. I think that was the team over at the Float Life. I mean, they were absolutely screaming on that thing. You don't want to fall off on a single wheel, going 40. They were all suited up, Kevlar, full helmet, wrist guards, the whole 9 yards. So
Wow.
yeah, but they're cool.
So what
So
what the hell does it look like?
here we go. So this is the one wheel.
Oh.
Yeah, this is my baby. This
So
is the OG, the first one I got over in Indiana, Muncie, Indiana. Picked the sucker off a Facebook Marketplace. It's the XR model. That's a discontinued model right now. You can't buy that off the website. They've got the XR Classic. It's got like updated brains, but
mhm.
that's the one wheel. That's the thing. And so you stand on it like that, right? And then, well, I might as well just turn on. I thought I was going to save this for the end, but
Oh,
you got
wow.
me, you got me excited. So
What a
you're standing
treat.
here, you get to the middle, and you see, I'm like, ooh, a little burnout. So I'm balancing on this wheel, and if I, go one direction or the other, it kind of takes me there.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so this is kind of an awkward angle, really, to hold the camera. I've never done this before, so this is new.
I gotta say,
Uh,
it's almost like you have somebody else there with you. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing here.
You can take off little bumps here. Yeah, see, like that's
Oh, be careful.
I don't know if you noticed my. This is part of our brand
No,
with
so
our
that's
boards.
the brand recognition. I wanted to say it's. I can tell that that's a big part of one of your main objectives is making sure that the brand is well known. How does the business actually function? What. So you don't actually provide the one wheels. It sounds like you provide an experience for your clientele. What does that look like, and how do you generate revenue?
So um, yeah, so I mean, you say provide the one. We don't make the one wheel, but we do. Like I have multiple of them. So what we're all about is getting people on them, right? Teaching them how to ride, and then providing them for a set period of time so they can enjoy the experience of a one wheel, riding a one wheel. So that's our ultimate goal here is to have these available and ready for people who want to try them. So my story, I'd seen these around. I was always curious, but these suckers are expensive. I mean, this model, that XR model, back in the day, a couple years ago, it was I believe it was $1,800 to purchase that
Oh, wow.
from the store, and it's not available readily. So I thought to myself, well, why don't I make the price point lower so that people can hop on it? Because otherwise, you can't even try it. And I don't think a lot of people want to spend $1,800 just to
No.
go. They don't even know if they like it. They're not sure about it. It's kind of an unknown. So I try to help reduce the unknownness and yeah, improve access. We're kind of about improving access and, like I said, encouraging people to ride them.
So the sounds like is the maybe the problem itself is the access, the total upfront cost to try to get out ahead of that for people that are potentially interested in trying something like a one wheel.
Yeah, I would say honestly, there's two main problems: is
Mm-hmm.
the cost, and then also the skill.
Learning curve.
Learning curve. Yeah, learning curve. So we try to help with both of those.
So it's not because in this type of experience, it sounds like early adopters are the type of people that would be mostly interested or initially starting to use the one wheel. These are people that are already a little bit more accustomed to taking risk or trying new things. And so, but once you actually experience it, and we just saw it just a little bit ago with you on that thing, whirling around doing all that crazy stuff and kind of making me pretty nervous. But you seemed cool as a cucumber. Um, Even so, I think that attitude, it speaks to just kind of what those early adopters are like, right? And so you have a whole nother vast ocean of people that might want to try a Onewheel, but they're a little bit more timid, maybe a little bit like me, right? A little bit more uh, safety conscious, or just a little bit more risk adverse would be another way to put it. Maybe a little bit less willing to dive into the unknown. Maybe a little bit more comfortable doing what they're normally used to doing. Maybe just a little bit more cautious, right? I think, when we talk about early adopters, they're not so much like that. But if you're not the early adopter and you're someone who might be into a product once it's been within its life cycle a little bit longer, then the people that I was just talking about, the people that are just a little bit more comfortable, not pushing the boundaries too much, not taking on too much risk, then they might try to start something like trying a Onewheel or trying a new product. Once the adoption has expanded out far, it's expanded out. How should I say this? It's expanded out far enough to the point where they're comfortable trying something that they haven't done before, right?
Yes,
Early
exactly.
adopters, I think, they're much more willing to go ahead and just try something, even though they might not have all the answers up front. But there's a much bigger group of people in that untapped market that they'd like to have a little bit more data. They'd like to have a little bit more supportive evidence that the Onewheel, in this case, the Onewheel, as we talk about your product, a little more assurance that it's a safe thing that they're willing to take on, and just so that it doesn't feel so dangerous. And so you're definitely not like that. As I was watching, I was like, man, he's really kind of doing some crazy tricks here and everything. And I was considering cutting the interview short. But I'm really happy to see that, like, we've kind of gotten through this, and that as that early adopter, though, I also think that it's a part of a broader mindset that's needed if you're going to start something like this. Take that risk on, start your own company and start your own venture. So I guess in that way, I am a little bit more of a early adopter. But in general, though, I don't really like to take risks, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, sometimes we have those dichotomous, feelings and opinions.
Another thing, I
And
didn't even know what a Onewheel was until I started talking with you, and you showed me that, because I think I'd even said, like, I don't even know what it looks like.
Yeah. So
that's an expensive technology too, because I think that if like I said, if you're an early adopter, there's almost two things going against you as you're talking. And let me just kind of confirm and clarify that I'm getting this right, that there's kind of two things here, two problems: the cost of ownership and the learning curve, or the accelerated adoption.
You talk about the early adopter, and then you talk about kind of the milieu of those a little more cautious, a little more apprehensive, considering, but cautious. I say considering and cautious. I think they just need a hand to hold, right? Those early adopters, they don't want any hands. They just want to get in there, get both hands on it, and start, working with it. Get their hands in the clay and the mud, shaping, forming, playing. Those on the edge, I'd say the vast majority of people, they'll think about it, but they're not going to go head first. They might break their neck, right? Like if you head first into a swimming pool, you don't know how deep it is. So people have been paralyzed doing that.
Alex, that's a great analogy.
Thanks.
And you're right. That's exactly what I'd said. So thanks for repeating that.
It must have been pretty high in your class. Like, ranking. I don't know if they do that in business school. I've thought about it. I don't know. I might have to. I've thought about trying it, just because I really sometimes feel like I don't know what I'm doing out here. I just got some ideas, or like listen to some podcasts. Just kind of winging it,
What?
Yeah, no business school for me. Mostly just medical school. So I've just been, encouraged by others to, pursue dreams. But I'm kind of learning on the fly. The Small Business Development Center, SBDC, they've been kind of helpful. I had a mentor through them, and he was kind of helpful.
Okay.
So yeah, I've just been really home growing this. So
No, in general, I mean, I think that in general, I always try to advise people to go ahead and go for that extra education. Um, we have about 10 minutes left. I really appreciate the insight, and what I'd like to talk a little bit more is about the brand and exactly what was that process like establishing the brand, and how can you try to make it tie or reflect your personal experience and your story behind uh, this venture.
yeah, so we wanted to be rad. We wanted to be sick, as they say in the community. And so
Wow.
I talked with my wife about it, and also kind of the inspiration for doing this is to well, our slogan, right? I think it says it all. Spread stoke, fuel hope. That's our slogan.
Now, what is that
So
hope?
that hope, I mean, it could be anything. It could be the hope of trying something new, but we also really very explicitly like to support charities of heartbreaking causes, um, things that we think are just really critical and sometimes ugly, even things that break your heart. So this year and last year we've been supporting Safe Harbor, Ohio. They help with victims of sex trafficking, girls age 14 to 19, on-site housing multiple years. They get them education, they get them therapy, they get them stabilized. They help them with work and applications. So if they want to do that kind of thing, so that's a really great foundation organization over there. And so yeah, that's what we're about. We're about having a lot of fun, and then we want to do something good with this company. So Fractured Heart Boards is all about helping causes that break your heart, fractured heart. So that's kind of the play. And
Wow,
then
that's really special. And so potential writers or people that are interested in getting involved, do they know about this in the background? It might be part of the reason why they decide to uh, go ahead and dive in and try to enjoy your services. Is that a part of it, or is this sort of something happening more so in the background?
no, we'll definitely tell people about it, because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
half of the difficulty for some of these charities is even just exposure, right, and getting their name out there. So while we're not no, we're not making hand over fist right now. It's kind of slow go for us. So financially supporting them, it kind of feels like peanuts, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
getting like millions of dollars through grants and organizations that have that financial impact. So I'm going to help with that word of mouth. I'm going to be the boots on the ground, the infantry. Be telling people about this cause, and so we've handed out cards, flyers for them. So I mean, that's how we're kind of giving back to them mostly right now.
Okay. And so the and so before we go, I guess I'd like to know a little bit more. So, where is your market, and how can we best kind of find more uh, about your company and about what you're doing here?
Yeah, that's great. Right now, we are working through liability is a big one, right? Trying to offer this high kind of risk service
Mm-hmm.
while also not being at risk ourselves for injuries, liability, and that. So that's been honestly a huge obstacle. So we've not actually been able to get riders on boards because we haven't been able to figure out overcome that obstacle. So right now we're mostly a brand, right? And so this is the Onewheel DAP. Onewheel DAP. So see how those are like, see how it's like ones,
Yes.
and then it kind of makes a W shape. You see that? How it kind of the one into the thumb into the other one. It's kind of a W.
Oh my God. Yeah, I see it now.
So it's Onewheel. So but you need somebody else to do it. You can't do this handshake on your own. So we love that part, right? It's about community. It's about sharing the experience. It's about that handshake. Uh, and so and the partnership, right? So maybe that's us. Maybe that's us in the green, and then maybe that's Safe Harbor here in the blue.
Love
Or
that.
maybe next year it's another, like an orphanage
Yeah.
somewhere. We're open to ideas. So actually, if anybody out there wants to help us organizationally, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed for time a lot with young family and being a doctor. So somebody taking over some of the day to day and help us overcome these obstacles. So I guess
Sure.
it's kind of a pitch out there, not to like scalp anybody from your company or anything, but like people who aren't at the public company. If they know somebody, we'll take young and hungry people. We
Well,
need to
that's a
get some
great.
traction.
Yeah, and that's and two, I will definitely be sharing where I can as I interacting with different people. And you mentioned earlier kind of the hustle, the boots on the ground, getting out there. I'm in the midst of that right now with my company, and I think that that's definitely a part of the one of the main obstacles is really almost deciding how big of a priority is this, and is it really worth going all the way in? And so, I'm definitely super impressed with your ability, Alex, to achieve this and generate some of this value. And I think that the brand itself is very special. I think that it's easy to understand and it's attractive. And so, we'll definitely be looking to follow more about the Fractured Hearts Club and see how that's going. And you keep showing off this merchandise. Is there a way that we can get our hands on some of this merchandise?
Oh boy, I wish. We don't have a website
So that's
set up
just
yet.
yours
So
for now.
yeah, well, we do have boxes. We have plenty. We just don't have a good way to get it into people's hands. But if you look us up on Instagram, fracturedheartboards, that's probably the best way to get a hold of us. Or email fracturedheartboards@gmail.com. You can email us directly if you want something. We can try to figure that out.
Okay.
It'll be a slower process. Again, family-owned business, small business, but
a special
we're a
business,
business
right?
that I think, yeah, we're bringing value.
And I think too. I think what wanted to mention that we will be making sure that the links are in the description of this video for all the different socials and any other resources that you would like to include as a part of this interview.
I really appreciate that. And if you don't mind, I just want to say your brand. I'm loving the People Company. I've kind of had some side eye on this since the get go. I've seen some growth. I'm pretty impressed.
Really?
Yeah, sir. I really have appreciated it. I'm kind of a fan of those intros, those outros, the music choices. I mean, all right. I don't like to use the word, but I get inspired. It's been fun
Yes.
to it's been fun
That's
to
the goal.
see. So I like what you're doing. I like your agenda. I like your mission. You seem like somebody who's read Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. You're that kind of Stephen Covey kind of visionary. It seems
I
like.
am.
So transformational. And seeing you use that word a few times. I've even seen that. Red, green. Examples. I love it. I'm
No,
here
it's
for it.
Thank you for the support there. And like I said, it's not easy. And like there's almost like a certain level of mental capacity or an IQ threshold, perhaps. I hope it's okay that I say that is required to understand, what I mean when I'm saying these types of things and when I'm using words like transformational, like unification, like value creation. And
I've heard you say fair business too. That's been a
and you get it, right? And so I think that I'm looking for, as I'm continuing to build out the team, personnel right now is kind of the top priority. Elite human capital is the number one goal right now, and I operate under the philosophy, Alex, that if you have that human capital locked and ready to go, if you've got those horses biting at the bit, running at the gates, wanting to get out and get going.
Yeah.
It'll take care of itself. And
well,
so
don't forget about the technology. I mean, sometimes I feel like technology is that bit,
yes.
For the horses. So sometimes the horses run wild until you get those bits in there. So don't forget about technology, man. You might have to prioritize a little earlier in the game. I don't want to tell you how to do things, but
I'm glad that you said that. So, and it's all it has to happen in a synergized kind of way, right? It needs to be streamlined. It needs to be parallel, all going with the same tailwinds. And so technology.
Shared vision, right?
Shared vision.
Yeah.
Having that strategy that we're all aligned toward is huge. Technology, like you'd mentioned, there's no replacing technology. Data, I think that data is ultimately how we communicate in the business world. And without data, you're nothing, right? And that may sound brash or whatever, but it is true. And so in order to have an opinion on anything or to know anything, you have to have data. And then lastly,
I need a goal just to